A bit before my time, in the late 70s and early 80s, we had things called laser discs. These, to me, look like giant DVD discs. And it's no surprise because the laser disc was actually the predecessor to the DVD. We have behind us a Pioneer Laser Active. This one is one of the most expensive and rare ones because it can actually play Mega Drive and other consoles with a little slot-in pack. I'll show you how all this works in a minute, and this one's come in because it doesn't actually play the laser discs. It's had a full recap by the owner and since then no longer works. So this is the device. These are the laser discs, which are absolutely massive. Of course I had to buy Lost World to test it on. This is the device, so you can see we have a Pioneer. It's the CLD A100. And here is the special part, for me at least. It's got a Mega Drive built into here. They can play Mega Drive and Mega CD discs. And then just take a look at that for a disc. It's a double-sided optical disc, and it was actually the first optical disc ever made. So let's power this up, see how it works, and let's first check if it will read these discs. So let's just start by powering this up. You can see when we turn it on, you get the flashing green light, you get the boot up, and you can see it knows you've got the Mega Drive pack in, so you can play Mega Drive and Sega CD games. And now what we want to test is open the Laserdisc format here. This opens the CD tray, the smaller one, but this opens the big Laserdisc tray. So if we now place our giant Laserdisc on here and close, and if we press play, you can see we have the play pop up, but it doesn't actually seem to be spinning or playing. And now it's got the Laserdisc in, it just will not let you eject. No buttons work. So it seems when you're turning on and it's detecting the disc, you can see it no longer boots at all because it detected the disc. So there's definitely something more going on with this. And now with it stripped down, we can open the drive again. So I think it was just this pack not being in or out fully. So it was tricking the system into thinking that was in. So let's just remove this and let's just try a Sega CD. So we'll open the tray. You can see there's the normal size tray. We'll put the game in. It's got to match the region of the Mega Drive, so in this case the Sega CD game. And then if we press play, we can now see if anything happens. So there's the laser head moving. I think it takes a little while, these things aren't the fastest. There we go, so you can see now the laser head bouncing up and down. And then it's just failed to read. And let's just check with no disc in, we can see the laser actually receiving power. There you go, see that little red light there? So we know the laser's at least operating. So with the top off, we can now access all the potentiometers here. You can see we have RF max for Laserdisc, RF max for the CD, tracking and error max. We've got all the adjustments here, tracking and gain. So we'll reset these first and have a play. And just a quick note on the caps. These are not recapped. There's not a single thing recapped on this board. So if we take a look carefully while it's turned on, you can see they're all factory solder. None of these have been swapped. With all the dials set to the center position, it makes no difference. But I have noticed we've never seen the spindle move yet. So let's just try applying voltage straight to the spindle motor. So we just want 5 volts and limited to half an amp. Apply the 5 volts to the connector and just watch that spindle spin down there. So that confirms the spindle motor is working. Next we'll just check the laser's park in and park out when it detects when it's forward and backwards works. That's on this connector here, so it grounds pin 4 and 5. You can see pin 4, when the head is in, it's at 0 volts. And when it moves away on the outer edge, it goes to 5 volts. So you can see there 5 volts when it's away. Pin 5, which is the opposite, it's park in, you can see when it drops to 0. So these signals are working based on the position of the head. Next up, we'll check the photodiode with an oscilloscope on pin 6. For that, we want to check basically if the photodiode here is receiving the pulses off this disc. So we insert the disc while it's in, look at the scope, spin the disc by hand, like this, and you see the pulses. As soon as it stops, the pulses stop. So that's proving that the photodiode is okay on the head assembly. And now the board has just lost the negative 14 volt rail for no reason. So we have the 14 volt, we have all the other rails, but this negative 14 is now 0.8. And that results in basically a weird output on screen. So you can see the open and close, but if you put the Mega Drive in, it's practically black. And the tray doesn't work because it's all powered by the negative rail. So we're going to have to figure out why the power supply has died and fix that next. And that's that fixed. One of the ICs in here, IC 102, had died. Now we have this back. So I wonder whether that was weak and stopping this thing working. Let's just test again. And no, that's exactly where we started, so that wasn't a problem, it just happened midway through. The next thing to check is the alignment of this laser head to the left and right to make sure it's centered. And you turn this dial here, which it looks like somebody's already tried, to move the carriage left and right. What we're looking for is for the head to be halfway between 81mm, so 40.5. And if we look at it from dead above as it goes over, bang on. So I think the fact that we have good power, even though it did die, this was apparently recapped and it's not. We've checked all the dials, all the voltage rails, we've seen the photodiode detect work, we've seen the park in and out sensor work, the laser's got power, it's centered, and it's just never detecting that there's a disc. So I think this is going to be board level analysis. So I'll have to get back to the customer if they want to pay for more advanced diagnostics. But I do have a suspicion somebody's already worked on this, not done the recap, and definitely tried to fix things. So it could be that the actual laser head is dead. It's unlikely. It's more than likely some of the ICs or logic on here are bad, but that's a lot more work and a whole new job to diagnose. So I'll leave that one here and get back to the customer. If you guys have any suggestions or things you'd like me to check, definitely let me know. But unfortunately, that means I'm not watching Lost World tonight.